All right. How are you doing? My name is Tim Amoroso. I'm from the Red Light District Show. How are you doing, Diamond Dallas Page?
Good, man. I just got done working out. And it's perfect timing. I geared it right where I'd be done at 12:58.
Heck yeah. So you back east right now?
Yeah, I'm in Jersey, down the shore. That's where I grew up. My family was here, so came up to see my mom for Thanksgiving and my sister. Try to get up here when I can.
Yeah,
it's a great place to visit. I don't want to live there, but great place to visit.
Where do you live full time?
Atlanta.
Atlanta?
A little suburb called Smyrna. That's where Julia Roberts is from.
Oh, awesome.
It's a sweet little town.
Did you end up moving there because of WCW?
Yeah, but I actually moved to. I was still in Atlanta, but another place called Mapleton, and then I moved to Marietta, and then I left there and went to LA for 10 years, and then ended up coming back to Atlanta to build my business, and it was the best move I ever made.
Yeah, it's difficult out here in LA, huh?
Well, again, I think that it's difficult finding real people. I was fortunate. By the end, I found some pretty cool real people, and but most people are, they're as a whole very plastic.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of now, the culture we have now in LA is it's every man for themselves. There's it's all humanity is lost. Sympathy and empathy is gone.
Yeah, I think it's for living in a place that's not, there's a lot of good people out there, but a lot of them are, grew up there. So the transplants have come in, and a lot of them they want to be something that they're not, maybe they're trying to be something that they've never been, but along the way, you got to be a real person, and
I 100%
that's
agree.
right. Yeah. So that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. All right. I got to tell me real quick before we get into the movie debut. DDP yoga. From my understanding, you had an injury. You started doing yoga, and it helped you.
Well, it really started with I'm the guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. I'm one of those guys, Now, I've done everything. I didn't start wrestling until I was 35 years old. My career did not take off until I was 40 years old. That was in 1996, and my career, by the end of 96, was on a rocket. By the time 97 came around, I was the man. WCW, I was Wrestler of the Year. 98, I was in one main event after the other. According to Pro Wrestling Illustrated, I was Stone Cold Steve Austin. My good buddy was rated number 1. I was rated number 4 in the world, and that's coming from total, non-existence, pretty much. And my career was just on fire. I decided a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal, and then I blew my back out. And the injury that I had was a ruptured L4 and L5 between each one of our vertebrae, which our vertebrae may be the most important part of our body. Because if it's not working, if you hurt all over, you can get paralyzed, from the waist down, from the neck down. Your vertebrae is probably the most important thing you have in your body. In between each of the vertebrae are these shock absorbers or discs. Think of them as a jelly donut. And if you were to slap your foot down on a jelly donut, what would happen to it? It would implode.
Right.
And that's what happened to me on both of those in between both of those vertebrae. And I had 3 of the top back specialists, spine specialists in the world tell me, hey, man, you had a great career. You were the anomaly. You should have never happened, but you did. But now it's over. And I just couldn't take that I had to try everything before I let someone tell me that what I'd worked so hard to do to get to the top of the field in my business was over. So around that time, I was still married, and Kimberly was like, you should try yoga. And I was literally like, fuck that. I wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. I mean, that was my mindset. And she was like, so you'll try everything. You'll ice your body, deep muscle massage therapy, chiropractic, applied kinesiology, acupuncture, organic juicing, like you name it, I was doing it. And you won't try yoga. So she sort of bullied me into it. And I went to a couple VCR. Yeah, right. The VC, back then it was VCRs, and just a lot of those teachers, I just didn't like how they taught, because it was just so spiritual mumbo jumbo. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It just wasn't what I was about, especially in the mindset that I had at that point. So, long story short, I finally found a guy, and he didn't modify any of the positions. In other words, make them easier. It was just like everybody was Gumby, and they went through this power yoga flow that was, pretty intense, and I got really frustrated, but I also figured out the modifications to the positions. So, one night, I was doing it every single day, and in 3 weeks, I could feel a significant difference. One night, I was getting ready to crash out, and I'd been doing rehab the whole time, too. I had rehab for my knees, for my shoulders, for 4 operations that I had, 2 shoulder and 2 knee surgeries. And I had rehabbed the back, and I know a lot about rehab, but I know a lot about breaking up scar tissue. And scar tissue is what makes you inflexible. Scar tissue is what causes you pain and discomfort when you try to push past that level of length or wherever you're at. And that's why you have to break up the scar tissue. So one night before I crashed out, I mixed the yoga positions. Notice I didn't say posture or pose. This is DDP yoga. I am an athlete. I get in a position and I play a position. I don't get in a pose. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not it's not the way we do things. And I was never going to get big tattooed up bikers or football players or athletes, UFC fighters. Not really going to get them in a pose or a posture. I can get them in a position. That's something I understand. And I mixed the yoga positions with their rehabilitation techniques. And then I threw in old school calisthenics, like push-ups, squats, and crunches, done with a slow burn movement. And what I mean by that is you do like a 3-second push-up. You lower it for 3, hold for 3, push up for 3. And what happens when you engage muscles like that, you move slower, but you flex. It's sort of like weightlifting weights, but not. But it is in the way that it jacks your heart rate up, because what I learned completely by accident is every time you flex or engage a muscle, your heart has to beat faster to get the blood to the muscle. So this will sum this whole thing up. So completely by accident, I created a workout, which today is known as DDP Yoga. Tagline, it ain't no mama's yoga. I created a workout that healed my body, that was kick-ass cardio, and I could prove it with a heart monitor, dramatically increase your flexibility, strengthen your core like never before with minimal joint impact in less than 3 months, doing what would become DDP Yoga. I was back in the ring. At 42, those doctors said my career's over. At 43, I was a heavyweight champ of the world. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. So as you can imagine, I'm going to make that part of my lifestyle.
Yeah. That's, I had, there's a big problem with the way the world or our medical society diagnosed back pain, because I suffered from a blown out T5 and T6. And all they did is, here's Vicodin. Oh, here's Vicodin.
Right.
Oh, here's Vicodin. And lo and behold, I was in the service, and I'm addicted to pills.
Right.
And until I started, I made the conscious decision, enough with that, and I started working out, as slow as I can. I would do 5 sit-ups a day, and then that turned into 10, and that turned into 30, and that turned into 100. And slowly but surely I came back. And so that's how I know that this is legit, because I did something somewhat similar, and I didn't have a job that's as harsh on your body as you did. But I got back like I'm not laying down all day, and I'm actually, you know, contributing to society.
Well, you know, the thing is, it's either pills or pills, and then let us cut on you, and then we'll go back to the pills.
Yeah.
When really, what will heal your body, and you know, I've learned this through so many crazy, you know, Scott Hall, Jake Roberts, the disabled veteran Arthur Borman, who I helped not only lose 140 pounds, and that's 140 pounds in 10 months, but he lost these knee braces and the back brace and the wraparound canes that he had to walk on for 15 years, and not just walk, but run. So there was three ways that I helped heal these guys. One was I gave them a workout that wasn't going to beat up their body. It was going to strengthen and heal their body. Two, I was going to put real food in their bodies to help nourish their bodies, because you can't put fast, fake food, because that's not even food. You're better off eating the plastic apple than eating fast, fake food. But also getting them off genetically modified foods, which has been created in a lab, and showing them how to eat real food, which will automatically start healing their body, and then explaining to them that as important as DDP yoga is, the workout, as important as this eating plan I'm giving to you, it's 10% of the equation. The 90%'s between your ears. It's the story you tell yourself. And you can just, you know, you've heard people a million times, oh, God, I'm such a loser. Oh, I'm queen of the excuses. Oh, I can't. I have trouble with the food. It's like, you're right. You know, if you say you can or you say you can't, you're right. Do you know who said that? The first person that quoted Henry Ford. But what the hell did he ever do, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Do you cut out meat from your diet?
Hell no.
No? Okay.
I just, you know, if it's in my house, or I'm at my sister's house right now, you can bet if I'm eating meat, it's organic, grass-fed beef. Or what your parents, great-great-great-grandparents used to call beef. You know, because they didn't feed it corn, which has been genetically changed. The corn that people are eating today, and most of them have no idea, has been genetically changed in the DNA to have a pesticide into the DNA. This corn was mass distributed to make ethanol, gasoline. So they friggin' engineered the genetic pesticide into the corn. So much so that if you go look up on the EPA and look for corn kernel, registered as a pesticide. Okay, so that's what they're feeding to the cows. And grain that's been genetically modified. Cows aren't supposed to eat that. They're supposed to eat grass. You know, like our government, you'll even hear grass-fed. You'll hear people say, you've heard this term grass-fed now, right? Because it started getting a little popular.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that doesn't mean, just so you know, that doesn't mean the cow has been grass-fed his entire life. What that means is the cow has been grass-fed up till a month before they slaughter it. And then the FDA has determined that we can take in whatever the hormones and the shit that they want to feed that cow to beat that son of a bitch up another 40, 50 pounds, that we can eat that. It's okay for us to eat that, even though they have no idea. You know, so why does it even say grass-fed? Or you say almost grass-fed? You know, but again, so I eat meat, but I want the real meat. It tastes so much better. I can't even tell you, bro. You know, it just tastes so much better. Okay, like organic vegetables, or again, what your great-grandparents used to call food. You know?
All right, tell me a little bit about the resurrection of Jake the Snake.
The resurrection of Jake the Snake started as me just wanting to help out my buddy. Originally, I just wanted to set up the program, you know, the DDP yoga program, and try to get him to do it because I knew he was beat up. I had no idea just how beat up, but I knew he was beat up. And I sent him the disabled veteran Arthur Borman, who we just talked about, sent his video. You can see it at ddpyoga.com. It's on the front page. I sent him his video, and that's how I got everybody. All the macho men to do DDP yoga, I sent them Arthur's video. And they were like, oh my God, well, I guess this stuff really works. So got him started off just paying attention to the food first. He was over 300 pounds. He lost 4 or 5 pounds in the first 8 days just doing the food. And that was like a big win for Jake because you have to remember he was in such a bad spot, between booze, pills, crack, coke, you name it. He was addicted to it.
Yeah.
And doing whatever he could muster the money up for. That's what he would do. And again, I thought he just had a rehab. I thought he hadn't done any crack or coke or I didn't think he was drinking. But when I got there, I have 3 beers a day, which it's never just 3 beers a day. He said he would do it, so I flew down there and started filming him day one with the director, Steve Yu, who's one of my good friends and president of my company, DDP Yoga. And we just started the journey and I have no idea where it was going to go. And after being with him, I thought he's never going to do this. But he did. Because I made him lose like 20 pounds before I bring him to my home in Atlanta because, I really don't help anybody who isn't ready to help themselves because it just becomes way too much work for me, and I don't have time.
Yeah.
I'm helping people, like so many people you would never even believe it, and they've already got my program. And most people feel you got the program on to the next. It's like, no, I want to see you get results. So the bottom line is Jake's journey. Obviously, you saw the movie, I'm guessing, right?
Yes.
And what did you think of it?
It's heart-wrenching. I loved it. From start to finish, it was real. It's a real good insight to his life and to who he really is, other than the person we know him as on TV.
Right.
And it really touched home because my family, my mom, she was dealing with drug abuse my whole life when I was growing up, and yeah.
So you're related to big time.
Big time.
Hey, well, what's your Twitter?
At our original RLDS.
At original.
RLDS.
So spell it all the way through so I get it right. RORIG
origin INAL.
Right.
RLDS.
As Jake just tried to call me. RLDS. Okay, RLDS. Yeah, so when we get it out there, I'll tweet you to retweet, what you thought of the movie. We're right now we're up for, we're really, we put a lot of work into this film, obviously. And
yeah.
We have, we've been to we are at the first level of Oscar consideration, which is just mind-blowing, because there's a bunch of guys it's our first movie, and we're one of the 124 films. Our goal and dream is that we'd end up, in the top 15. Then it goes to the top 6 or 5 or 6, whatever it is. If we don't get top 5 or 6, I don't care because it's pretty political at that point.
Yeah.
But if we get just top 15, that would be just so gratifying. And if it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. But we will be releasing this movie out on VOD sometime in February or March. Okay. That's why I wanted to get your Twitter so you can lock it out there and get everybody tweeting about it and put your review. What do you really think of it?
All right, will do. I have a real cool question, and you can confirm nor deny this. Was the movie The Wrestler written after Jake the Snake?
Well, think about that. It was written friggin' 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
They to me, they totally knocked off Jake.
Okay. I just, that's what I thought as well.
It's pretty interesting that, how life, like you could never say, okay, here's what's going to happen. Like as a storyline, Jake's going to move in with Dallas. They're going to have some ups and downs. And then Scott Hall, the other guy that, people put number 1 and number 2 between him and Jake on the Deadpool, who's the next guy to die.
Yeah.
That Scott's going to come in. That's, 3 months later. And Jake and Scott are going to get sober in the same house, in the same year, and go in the Hall of Fame. That would have probably been like 14 billion to 1. Like no one would believe it. Like if we wrote that in a script, like Rocky, if we wrote it like a script, nobody would ever. Oh, funny you. That's impossible. Nobody will believe that. And see, that's what this movie really is about. It's about it's possible. Anything is possible. So many people, they'll mock, because they really don't get it. They mock people who are, like, oh, I'm positive. It's like, no, that's not what it's about. Keeping a positive mindset. Because it's really easy for all the negative things to happen to you while you've got a negative mindset. Now, I'll give you another quote. The repetition of affirmations lead to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. Have you any idea who said that?
No.
But you know who he is. Muhammad Ali. Now, think about Ali. From 20 on, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest of all time. He was laying out his future. Who he was going to be. What was going to happen. And when they picked the 100 top athletes of the last century, he was number 1. Now, was Ali really the greatest athlete of that century? Well, according to that list, he's number 1. He is the greatest of all time. That just didn't happen. Like, oh yeah, Ali got to be great. Oh, no, he willed. I've done it so many times, so I totally get it. You throw it out in the universe. It's called the law of attraction. And the more you put positive visions in your mind and say them over and over, let's see, like, I'm going to become a wrestler at 35. And I'm going to become one of the top guys in the business. Are you crazy? They laughed. Michael P.S.A. fell down laughing on the floor when I told him. Oh, God, and all that, my goal was only to be a top guy. That was it. And then I was having such trouble with the booking committee, the guys who write the storylines.
Yeah.
And one day I'm talking to Dusty Rhodes. Jake Roberts and Dusty Rhodes were my 2 mentors. I mean, you can't have 2 better guys that are completely different.
Yeah.
But unbelievably successful, and both might be top 5 guys of all time, because those top 10 guys are pretty interchangeable for top 5. Like you can't really say, "Go out. You're not going to put Dusty in the top 5, really? You're not going to put Jake." So having both of them for completely different stuff. Like Dusty was my mindset and my business and my goal setting. Like one night I was just bitching so bad because the booking committee were jerking me around so bad that, I was just venting. And Dusty would let me vent to him. And at one point I said, Dream, I know, I just want to get that Jake Roberts, Rick Rude opportunity. Because anytime Rick Rude or Jake Roberts went in the ring, I'll tell you who they were wrestling. You had no idea what the finish was. You couldn't say, oh, Jake's going to do the job tonight. No, you didn't know. Rude either. And that's what was so amazing about those guys. But that's the only spot. I never dreamed of being the world champion at that point. So I said to Dusty, Dusty, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick or Hogan. I know I'm never going to be the world champion, man. But yeah, I just want to get that opportunity. He goes, Dallas. I go, I just want to get Dallas. Shut up. I never heard him yell at me before. Shut up. He said, what did you just say? I said, well, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick or Hulk. And he goes, no, what did you say after that? I said, well, dude, they're never going to put the world title on me. He said, then you need to get the fuck out of the business right now. He said, Dallas, you don't believe that you could be the world champion as hard as you work. You need to get the fuck out now. Get him up. Get out of the business. I know exactly where I was at that moment in time. In my first house, there was a ledger pad next to the phone. I grabbed that ledger pad. I pulled it over, and I wrote, I will be the world champion in 5 years or less. It was dated November 26th. It was 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days. And the next day, I'm driving from Tacoma to Spokane in Washington. And I get a call on my cell phone. And I pick it up and I hear, so, how does it feel? And I said, it feels real, Dream. He says, that's because it is. And, it's just like that positive affirmation, seeing it transform in front of your vision, of your eyes, and your, and your mindset. That's what, that, they laughed at me so hard. When I told them, I said, eventually I'm going to be a world champion, I started telling people who were close to me, like, are you out of your mind? I'm like, no, I'm going to make it happen. And then when I told them I was doing yoga, oh my God, they fell down laughing again. And then when they found out I was going to call it my own yoga, DDP yoga, like, oh my God, what is he thinking? And then I turned it into an $18 million business. And the big thing is, it ain't about the money to me. The big thing is, we are helping people change their lives dramatically every single day. I had a new guy who came. I was at the screening of Jake the Snake Roberts. Got to give kudos to Slam Dance, because they are the film festival that that took us on and brought us in. And we didn't win Slam Dance, but you'd think we did, because we're the only movie Slam Dance has ever put their name on. Slam Dance Presents. They were blown away. The CEO and founder, Peter, was blown away by the movie. And on the front, when you see the movie, you'll see Slam Dance Presents. It's our first screening, which has filled a lot of movie people and some wrestling fans. And one of them, this guy walks up to me, a big guy, about 330, maybe 5'11", 6 foot, big guy. And he comes up to me, he goes, Dallas, he goes, I don't want to bother you, man. He goes, but I just got to tell you, DDP Yoga changed my life, man. It saved my life. And I said, oh, that's great, man. He goes, yeah, I lost 190 pounds in 8 months. I'm thinking, this guy's huge right now. Huge. I'm thinking, he lost 190 pounds in 8 months. I never heard those numbers before. So my wife, I said, Brenda, come here. Listen to what he just said. He goes, did he just say he lost 160 pounds in 10 months? And she was just trying to trip him up, see if he was, no, I lost 190 in 8 months. And before it was all done, in 15 months, he would lose 300 pounds. Shit. He actually came into, I put him in the video, my new workouts that are all going to be on the app. Because I've had these workouts up for 5 years, so it was time to update everything. And it'll all be on the app. Yeah, but we're going to do live workouts, DDP Yoga for kids, and DDP Yoga, what I call beginner. and that is that's the beginning workout for people who are just starting out. But the guy is actually in the videos, and at this point he's down to the weight he wants. He's down 313 pounds in 17 months. Pretty crazy.
Shit.
Pretty crazy. We got to put a button on this, folks. I had to go to my next interview.
All right, so, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it from the depth of my heart. Thank you so much. Everyone, go see The Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. And please, if you are in pain or you need to lose some weight, ddpyoga.com. Thank you, DDP.
ddpyoga.com. And we got a big special coming on for Black Friday, so check it out. All right, brother.
All right, have a
great
one.
day.
You too.
See ya.
Holy shit. That really just happened. I had like chills. For reals. Like when he's telling those stories because